Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and this reading is for Thursday, December 24th. It's Christmas Eve 2020. Okay, so I'm going to draw 3 cards for a message, and it could be for the day, but also timeless, in order to help us get in touch. Oh my goodness, same card as yesterday. To get in touch with the limitless laws of abundance in the universe, the limitless abundance and the laws of love and truth and wisdom. Okay, so there's our theme. Okay, that brings in the element of the wise unconscious and the intuition. Okay, so I got it. Here's the message. So, with the theme being the moon, this has us in touch with our intuition and also any unconscious realms that we need to work through. So here we are with our light shining, our bright light shining, our optimistic, playful, creative self. I went into this card deeply in yesterday's reading, so watch that again. But when we bring in the moon, well, this is the card that actually, chronologically in the tarot, it goes this way. So if we just look at it like that for a moment, this is the gateway to get to here, right? So to get to all this brilliance, we're going to need to work through, well, any places where we're unconscious of, any places where we might have a little bit of a hidden agenda that we're unconscious of, any place where we're unconscious as to how we actually have true power in manifesting. And this is especially in relationship, because the sun can be a good relationship card as well. So here we are shining our light, and here we're wanting to get through all this murky undercurrent that could be going on that could sabotage us. Sometimes the moon can be where we self-sabotage. We have our creative power always, but then we have these other emotional undercurrents. Now, when the undercurrents are clear, then we create. This is the way, the natural manifestation is. We shine our light after we work through the emotional undercurrents. So the emotional undercurrents are emotional reactions. So that would be, of course, the ways that we go into shrinking, staying small, being afraid of just being ourselves, being afraid of, or falsely believing that we don't believe, or we don't deserve to have real love and shine our light, falsely believing that that we have to be quiet, falsely believing that, like our feminine essence doesn't matter. And that doesn't matter if you're, female or male, that doesn't matter how we identify. But it's that, sensitivity that is involved, when we're in the realm of the moon. This has us in that place of just... sometimes it's those magnetic energy blocks that are, coming from the past, and they're old and they're repressed, of course. They're unexperienced emotional reactions. And so this to me, this card feels like a message from the soul that's calling us to look at where we're in duality. And I say that because we have, the black wolf and the white wolf. And this is also, the message that one of the deeper messages in this card is Carl Jung's quote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is like, when we're in that place of the unconscious, we don't always know, what we're doing or what's happening, but we will always attract it. Wherever we're attracting any unfulfilling situations, any lack of fulfillment, which is the true meaning of the Nine of Cups reversed, whenever we attract anything like that, or whenever we're going through anything like that, is because we've attracted an unconscious mirror that we need to look into. And so, not to judge yourself bad or harshly or anyone else, because, this old emotional, like reactive, magnetic, energy is within, all of us because of an earlier hurt, an earlier wound, from our childhood or from a past life. And it may very well be from past life and then it came through this lifetime in your childhood as well. That's how it works. So, rather than having the clear, free soul movements, what we will have is like some cramped, tight energy that's inside of us. And sometimes we kind of rebel against things that we can't change. It's that demand to have life be the way that we want it rather than just the way it is. Which means like demanding to have our way all the time. So basically, it's as long as we're not cutting ourselves off from our feelings, we can work through anything. We can work through any heartache. We can work through any tension. And I'm feeling it more in the heart area. I think this is more of, in the heart is the bridge to open up to the higher realms. And this is definitely the higher realm. So if there's any heartbreak from the past, I think the important takeaway here is to know, just to remember that because our true spirit, our true essence, our eternal spirit comes from a realm of unity, comes from a realm of power and unity and bliss. And where it's, it's so peaceful and it's so blissed out that you can't even have a negative thought. Like, imagine that. Imagine being in a realm where you can't even have a negative thought. And that's, your true essence inside of you. That's where you hail from. That's where you come from. So we all have a remembrance of that. Like deep in, all of us have a deep cellular memory of that place. And then here we are on Earth, in a different reality, in duality. And when life doesn't go the way that we planned or the way we want, then we go into this false belief that there's something wrong with us. Like somehow we're inadequate or we're lacking, or we might even compare ourselves against others and then make ourselves even smaller. So it's all these like judgments that we put on ourselves. And when we believe those types of lies, we think in our essence that when we think we're somehow inferior or less than, then that's a real opportunity to know that these are just passing emotional undercurrents and reactions, and there's nothing at all wrong with it, but it's just that we need to identify it as the past and don't identify with it. It's not who we truly are. It's really important to understand that. It's like, our task in those times is to connect with our inner beings, our inner light. And, you can drop it into dream time. You can know that your wise unconscious, your higher self, will come through and give you the message to help you get to the fulfillment that you want. And to know that you don't need to be perfect. We don't need to be perfect. We're merely human, and we can let go of needing for everything to be the way that we want. And remember that, it was that way in the spirit world, where when we had a idea and we put ourselves out there, all we had to do really is just to think and feel an experience that we wanted, and then like bam, we had it. Like that's how powerful we are. But here on Earth, it can be a very big disappointment that can make us just like sink down to the bottom and go, what's happening? So just remember, because of that spiritual memory, we have this unconscious expectation of life on earth to be the same. And here we have to face the limitations of time and space. So the key is to not take these limitations and these disappointments personally. Just don't take it personally. 90% of the time it doesn't really have anything to do with you. It's just, the way things are. Now that doesn't negate, I don't want your takeaway from here to feel like, like a victim at all, because that doesn't negate our power to create what it is that we're working on and to create what it is that we want. It's just that we have to take the time every day to meditate and go deeply and look for any unconscious material to remove, like pull the weeds out. When you're working on a garden, you have to water it and nurture it, give it sunlight, and you have to pull the weeds out. So the weeds in this case would be false beliefs that maybe have been unconsciously held for eons that have held you back. And then with the Nine of Cups here reversed, it's not so bad, honestly. This can just be a little bit of any lack of fulfillment, but it can also be sometimes like family pains and addictions and self-hatred, things like that in the worst sense of the word. And then other times it can be like an unrealistic type of a goal or of a wish, where you have to get in touch with the unconscious material before the wish can be, granted and fulfilled. So whatever unconscious material is holding you back from having what you want, that will be the key to go through. And then you can turn that card upright. Now, like I said, like I have said many times, I haven't said it yet today, but when a card comes through reversed, when the Nine of Cups comes through reversed, oftentimes it means to go back to the card before it, which would be the Eight of Cups. That card, to me, in its spiritual message, has to do with taking self-responsibility, taking really good self-responsibility for what it is that you want to create and how you have created everything in your life up to this point, and how you have that ability to create anew and turn it all around. So with that in mind, we can get into like the traditional meaning of the Eight of Cups reverse, which can have to do with, the Eight of Cups upright, which of course you remember the image here. Let me find it real quick with this deck here. Let's see, I have the Wands, and here we have the Cups. Yeah, that image where you're walking away because you've done all you possibly can. You've done all you can. And, the red life force here, the red coat indicates the life force and the power to move forward and walk away because you've done everything you can here. And it's actually a card of empowerment. All the eights are very empowering cards, even though some of them are challenging, like the Eight of Swords is very challenging. But with the Eight of Cups, if we were to go backwards from the Nine of Cups reverse and go to the Eight and look at the meaning in that card, it is to take self-responsibility, and which means sometimes you're walking away from things that you're just done with, that you've already inhabited that realm of consciousness and there's nothing more there for you. So now it is time to move forward into the next realm, which of course is the Nine of Cups, which has to do with fulfillment and having your dreams, having your wishes come true. Especially if we look at the image with this card. But sometimes with the Nine of Cups, and especially when it comes through reversed, that can have us in that realm of, like family addictions, like drinking, like just being afraid of change, avoiding because we're afraid of change. I'm speaking to like when the Nine of Cups is reversed. I should do that way. a fear of loss, and most of all, like stagnation, and then of course, because of childhood wounding, this could be like a low self-esteem. So maybe the big message here, the healing message on a soul level, has to do with all the unconscious, all the work that we do in the unconscious areas to heal our souls will help. I mean, of course, it's going to mean that we're going to dive into any aspects of low self-esteem or any aspects of self-hatred or beating ourselves up for the past. And in clearing those out, hold on to this card to know that the warmth of your spirit and the light of your spirit, the light of your eternal spirit that can never cease to be, it can clear out anything. Go with the power of this card. It can clear out anything, but we do have to shine the light into the unconscious areas and face those fears and then turn around those lies. Because the truth is, let me do it this way. See that treasure chest down there? The truth is that you have buried treasure within, and all we ever have to do is work to excavate it daily. And then your light will shine through, and then you will have fulfillment. But again, remember, on earth it's never perfect, and we are going to have those times when it's not going to go our way, but the main message there is to not take it personally. Just keep going for what you want. Keep working on any false beliefs that are unconscious material. Dig in every day. Sit in meditation every day and ask, what's my false belief to clear today? What do I need to get in touch with? Or even weekly, set the intention to find a false belief every week to clear out. And that means finding it, questioning it from all different angles to find, how untrue it is, and asking yourself, is this really true? And then find out all the ways that it has created problems in your life. And of course it was true in the past. It was something that you experienced. It was soul trauma. It was, past life trauma. And of course it was, childhood trauma. But now that we're adults, we can clear all that out so that it doesn't repeat again. So that we don't have to go through it in another lifetime. And that's the clear path of empowerment. That's how you just keep working it. These cards actually go together really well. Like all the work that we do to emotionally clear out, let's look at it this way. All the emotional release work that we do to search for our buried treasure and identify the fears and the unconsciousness, but don't identify with it. Find the false beliefs, but keep looking for your gift, because there's always the gift within the wound, always. And we keep doing that every day until our light shines really clear. And you'll have those experiences of, like I've said many times, where you can be in the dumps for a week. You can be like this for a week. And it takes a week to get to the clear place. And then later on it takes, 3 days or 2 days or 1 day. You go through the unconscious material. And then later on you just go, you recognize it. It doesn't even slow you down. You just go, oh yeah, well, I can turn that around. I can clear that up and then get my light shining again. And then other days you just have a day where you just have to rest and chill out and do nothing because you're integrating. Whenever we do all this, deep emotional work, we do have to integrate. We do have to take days off and integrate because it's, our matter, our spirit, our physical matter doesn't move as quickly as the spiritual matter. So, and I think that's what the card yesterday, in hindsight, may have been speaking to as well. So, yeah, so the reading for December 23rd and and this reading for the 24th, they definitely go together. So, what a beautiful way to bring in, Christmas, for Christmas Eve. This can have to do with family dynamics as well. That can be really challenging. Like here you are with your bright shining light, and then you're with your family, however, or maybe it's just one family member that gets you to this place where you're like, oh God, not again. What's happening? But this time maybe you get to see clearly the dynamic and just stick with your light. Sometimes our parents are just our ticket in here. And of course they're going to be, sometimes they're just going to be awful, and other times they're going to be really awful but then really loving. That dichotomy of both. That is one of the most challenging parts of being human. And maybe they were awful when you were younger, but now that they've grown older, they have healed and they have, asked you for forgiveness. Maybe they've recognized what they've done wrong. And yeah, forgiveness always opens up the healing pathway as well. So, okay, so I think that I can't think of anything else to add to this one, actually. Yeah, okay, I'm done. Okay, you guys, thanks so much. Take good care. Merry Christmas.